Hey guys, thank you for joining me on Their Fight Story with Igdalia. Today we will be talking about Delta Panda Project. If you don't know about it, you will today. Hi Alan, how are you?
Good morning, Iki. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Tell us a little bit about Delta Panda Project.
So the Delta Panda Project is a after a few years that I've been to the firearm business in Massachusetts to do the basic LTC applications requirements and also the different things that we do in terms of firearms training and such. We try to I try to kind of like rebrand or reconsolidate into something that got kind of easier and just try to because we get involved with different things now, so just try to more like a rebranding a little bit and also a little change of services that we do. So
Okay, so what is it that you're rebranding?
so we're branding is into kind of getting into not just shooting but also with like more like a physical like training stuff too. So we do like some non-training classes, such as like situation like awareness classes. We some kind of role playing. With non-lethal, weapons, like could be like a plastic gun. Could be a airsoft gun. Could be like a plastic, edge weapon, and so we are trying to incorporate the live fires with non-live fire training as well.
So if you're looking for somebody that can support you, can guide you, and give you the knowledge that you need, then I do recommend reaching out to Alan Lau with Delta Panda Project.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, but like you said, like I'm pretty open-minded. I don't really care about the why you're there. When we're there to work, it's all about the students and such. So this is kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm also the type of instructor too. Like if after our sessions, you got your homework to do, and
Hmm.
if you don't do them, and kind of like I don't even want to see it kind of thing, because like I really want people to be like self-driven. Like I can only lead the horse to the water. You need to drink it, right? So that's kind of my philosophy, sir. You know, like like this is what I do as a passion. A lot of time it's not really my main focus in terms of on income and such. So that's why I am more selective about like who I teach and stuff like that. As you're aware of or not aware that we also volunteer for another nonprofit for fortifying survivors in
Hmm.
training for the survivors too. So we doing that for free or and stuff like that. So to help the survivor to get the LTC fees waived and go through the process on us. So
Yeah, there's like different levels to this particular path, So if you have questions, definitely reach out to him. He'll guide you because this is something that everybody should know, but it's also not for everybody.
yeah, that means firearm is not for everybody. Like flat out, and this is why we have non-lethal training as well.
Mhm.
This is when we realize a lot of times for someone to really use a firearms to in a in a needed situation, it's not everybody's mental things, and I
Mhm.
and I realize that and I know that. So hence we have different types of training and that we can bring in different instructors based on the needs. Myself, been doing martial arts since like the late 90s, with 20 somewhat years experience, and we in a circle that we can train with different fighters or different coaches, with certain like classes that we can do. So we are blessed to have a small community of people who are involved that with the shooting aspect of the training and non-shooting aspect of the training. And at the end of the day, is a lot of this is a mental game. Just like fighting. Like is I don't really. It doesn't matter how good the other fighter is if you break the other person mentally, like you already won. So same thing with shooting. Like you know, it's just not about pulling a trigger. Like it's I'm not talking about tactics by any means, since I'm not a law enforcement personnel, but it's a lot more than just the physical pulling trigger. It's a lot more. It's more a mental aspect. It's like everything else. Your mind is everything. So that's what we try to do, in addition to the physical aspect of
Mhm.
things, of course.
Now, if somebody wants to learn more about this and start training and getting their license, what do they need to do?
They can reach out to me at Delta Project, deltapandaproject.com, and then you can email me through that, and then we have Instagram and stuff like that. It's Delta Panda PROJ. That's the handle. So just reach out, and then we see what we need to do. Get some training on. So I'm very mostly focused on one-on-one,
Mhm.
because especially with the newer people, because I believe in fundamental is key. So if you have develop a bad habit, it takes longer to break your old
Mhm.
bad habits than gaining the new information. So that's why I more with the new students, I just prefer one-on-one for a session or two. And once the base is established, then we can do like maybe like a small group training and such. But everything else, is a progression. So, we start low, and then there's always something more to do. You do the basic, more better, right? That's how kind of like how they say it. Some people say, like how you can be efficient with your basics, and that's kind of fundamental for both,
Mhm.
physical training as well as for shooting as well.
Yeah. If somebody is doing their research or they're contemplating learning more about this, what are some things that they should keep in mind?
Vet your instructors, like really, like look for recommendations, and really talk to instructors, and see how the person is, because there are a lot of instructors out there, and just like martial arts too. But you really have to do your own research. It's like, imagine you having a kid and looking for a daycare, looking for a babysitter. Like, what kind of vetting that you would do to have trust somebody to with your baby, and it's really should be the same process to look for a instructor for yourself too, because a lot of times people look at this as a money thing, but for me it's a time and resource thing. Like, for me to spend 2 hours to with somebody, like I want that 2 hours to be like worth it. Like, I want to learn and gain something out of it. Like, if if like, don't get me wrong, if sometimes you just want to spas, and like just do it just so that you do something, yeah, it's fine, but it's not like, you have no takeaways, right?
Mhm.
So for me, if I really spending that one-on-one, with somebody, I want that to be valued, and for my students' time and my time, because like I said, money can buy a lot of things, but money cannot buy you time. So
Mhm.
for me, if I was spending that time and money, the resources, like if I'm taking myself away from doing something, like I want it to be valuable. So hence why I kind of like fed like my student as well.
Mhm.
But if you a some you know, someone looking for the instructors, do the same thing. Like how I vet my student, then you should how you vet, your instructors as well. There's a lot of people who claim to be, instructors and stuff. Sometimes, some people have done a lot of things great,
Mhm.
but that doesn't make them a great teacher either, right? So it takes a special kind of people to teach, I think. And my biggest goal is really how much skill set my student can retain, because I am a student myself. Like, I always look
Mhm.
for training annually, if not biannually, with different people on, especially, skills are perishable. These are perishable skills, both
Hmm.
martial arts as well as shooting. So I look, I train myself as well. So like you need some kind of commitment to it.
Yeah, just like everything, it's something that you have to continue to grow and be better.
Yeah, like like the thing the BJJ people always say is saying, how BJJ is a lifestyle.
Hmm.
Like this combat sport thing is really a lifestyle. Like you
Hmm.
really have to kind of eat it, sleep it, breathe it. You really need to aware of it. Like cannot, you know, really look at it lightly in a way that the consequence is so
Hmm.
high. So you're talking about something lethal. So both with hand-on-hand combat as well as
Hmm.
with the firearms. So that's why like your mental, like, again, like I'm going back to mental, like your mindset
Hmm.
is really important. Like that's where it starts. If you have a bad
Hmm.
mindset, you like kind of sense it, I might just give you money back and send you home. Like I really don't care. I don't need the liability. To be honest with you, I really don't. It's not worth
No, no,
anything.
I know you will. I know.
So, like so because like at today's day and age, like
Yeah.
being a firearm person is such a negative thing because of the media
Hmm.
portrays and stuff like that, but it's really not. Do your own research. Like you listen. You can be anti-gun, or you can be anti all that stuff, but at the end of the day, do your own research. Like
Hmm.
I encourage people to do their own research on anything, really, not just
Hmm.
firearms. Like political aside, like don't just listen to somebody. Like do your own research and see what you find about the things that you're interested in.
Hmm.
You know, so we're in a day and age that information are so readily available, but now it takes more time to vetting
Hmm.
those information, are they correct or not. So he's actually now putting more work into it. And but like everything else, if you want it, you invest in it. And investment, it doesn't mean just time. It's not just mean money. It's time and resource. So this is why like I don't like to waste a lot of people's time or my time,
Hmm.
because my time is valuable and you can't buy it back.
Yeah.
So three things you can't buy, right? You can't buy love, you can't buy health, and you can't buy time. So
Hmm.
so time and is to me is one of the most precious things.
Yeah.
And that's why
I
I'm very
agree.
important. And then that's why you should do the same with your time as a
Hmm.
student or potential student to do your
Hmm.
research.
What are some red flags that people should consider when they're looking and researching for an instructor, a place, a
If,
range,
if
anything like that?
so, if you hear instructed that I never done anything wrong, you never made mistakes, then that's the number one red flag, right? Because we, the only person that never make a mistake is a person that never done anything in their lives.
Hmm.
Okay, so nobody's perfect. Okay, and like like myself, like I take the my this mix that I made as a learning moment and improve. um I'm not gonna ding on law enforcement and stuff like that. A lot of times, like the people that will sit behind hey, I'm at law enforcement, ex-military or military and whatnot. But again, just because I'm a doctor doesn't mean like I'm the same doctor level as a different
Hmm.
doctor who is highly trained and stuff, right? So there are tiers into
Yeah.
anything you do in life, tiers. So if someone just kind of sit behind that, like like the past potentials, that's another red flags, like for me. Um, and then also too, like you can see how and now like let's say you do sign up with the person, like see how they take the feedback. if
Hmm.
if the instructor always say is this is the only way, or blah blah blah, and couldn't, a lot of people can do it but they can't explain the why.
Hmm.
If you can see the instructor they're able to explain the why and if that makes sense, that usually is a good green flag. So when the people that who cannot explain the why, the
Hmm.
fundamentals, that's usually is a red flag for me. So like like if I take a class with some people, like if I just let's say a day class or
Hmm.
whatever. Like if they kind of like sit behind LEO experience, credential or whatever. And I mean, it happens to me. Like I have gone into like classes that the person is a active LEO at certain jurisdiction and a
Mhm.
certain pretty well-known place. And, like he, kind of set the tone, right? But then quickly into the class, I realized, like, you already noticed, like where like the close-mindedness was,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like you kind of know. Like for me, like I would never take the class from that guy again. Like so, like and this is from a big academy, like locally,
Yeah.
and it's not worth my time. Again, it's my time. It's not even the money.
Mhm.
It's my time to learn it and stuff. So obviously, always students stay humble, but at the end of the day, you still, I'm not. But then again, I'm not telling you as a student to like have a big head, like, hey, I'm already know everything. But
Mhm.
if you know everything, then you don't need to take a class, right? Like that's not what I'm saying. But you should really see like how the instructor take certain feedback. That's one of them, and but to me, like I would not go back to the same that person again. Like if I know that person, I'd probably withdraw from the class and I would flat out saying, "Hey, I don't have good experience with that person in the past." I think it's nothing egregious. Like for me to spend my day with you, like I took in a 2-day course with Varu Martinez from Arizona. Great guy, and he traveled from Arizona, came out like 2 days
Mhm.
close combat. I learned so much about myself. I learned
Mhm.
so much about certain things, and he pushes the envelopes and he explains things, and we do like hands, one-on-one hands-on combat, like with sim guns and stuff. Like
Mhm.
I got my ass kicked, and in a good way. And I'm learning, and I learned, so like, hats off to him. Um, but yeah, like I like the people that I found, that is great teachers. Another person that I train with is Mason Lane, national champ for USPSA, and like the things that I take away from, it's like the ability to explain to you that
Mhm.
that's a great teacher. So and again, like I'm not the best shooter in the world, obviously, and but like if you see teachers, you should really you know cherish it and
Mhm.
try to capitalize it.
Alan, before we conclude, is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
No, just 2025 gonna be a crazy year, I think. So just always be careful and stay vigilant. Don't addict to your phone in public. Basic situational awareness is a key to your safety.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alan. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.